recording. But seems like we're pretty much about ready to go anyway. Sorry, just trying to pull a couple of pieces up real quick. All right, there we go. All righty. So let me. Okay, sharing a screen is kind of nice. Okay, so big thing. Wanted to get talking to you guys on. Patrick, you have weirdly good timing on stuff. I wanted to go into your merge documents now since we kind of have moved now into that sort of section where we should start being able to get some outputs going. So that is kind of what I wanted to get into because I know I want to chat with you guys, get a little recap from what Lindsay has worked with you guys on so far. So let's see here. Okay, so right here, so just jumping into the ASO first off. So I was looking through the very first documents that you guys uploaded. Looks like you got a lot of areas that are highlighted, just some stuff that you obviously are probably going to want filled in. Quick question, where you guys have client in here, I'm assuming that you guys want the client's workspace name to come through on that, correct?
The attorney had set it up. What's the very top sentences say? Sometimes the attorneys write it to where it's, they just refer to whatever the company's name is as client.
Yeah, hereafter is client.
Hereafter client. So
okay,
it's just going to stay client. Otherwise, it would be a nightmare trying to fill all that out. Yeah.
Well, no worries. All right. So, we'll leave that as client. Obviously, you guys are wanting client address filled in here, correct?
Client name, right where you see it's yellow, that first one, here and after, will be referred to as client. That's the only place we're putting client name.
Gotcha. Let's see, effective date.
And then client address.
Yep. And then we have effective date, so it's just your contract effective date, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, alrighty. And then, so that stuff seems pretty self-explanatory where you guys have highlighted some stuff. Question was here is that I know you got this as optional.
I kind of went through this stuff. I went through this stuff with Lindsay already. This is just the way the attorney had thrown it at us.
Okay.
So if it's optional, we just kind of left it in there.
Okay.
So we probably just removed the word optional, but yeah, I kind of already went through all that. So I don't know if with whatever Lindsay worked on, I think is the polished final product for the actual proposal area. This is probably a document we just uploaded to work on. Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay, so yeah, because I've got Lindsay's right here, which has some of those merge fields already in here. But
as far as I know, we're just more or less getting to the bottom part. Was she able to make those yellow ones right there that you just at the top of this page? So what is it? Insert legal name of PEO, EIN of PEO.
Hang on a minute. I have like 3 documents up, so I'm trying to make sure that I got all the right stuff up too. Okay, so yeah, this one's already got merge fields in it. So it looks like the insert legal name of PEO. So for you guys, the legal name of the PEO, how is that differing from the organization name or whichever those names that you're already putting in?
For the legal name, it's WSPAY, space LLC.
Okay, so that's going to be your kind of like the legal entity that we put in the system for you.
Yeah.
So come on. All right, so WSPAY LLC.
Yeah, just like that.
Okay. All righty. Yeah, because I know that she's done with most of this. I just wanted to do a really quick run through on our call this time based on
Yeah.
if anything had changed, make sure I have the right understanding from you guys too. So I'm not getting something from Lindsay who also got
Well,
something from you, just
yeah.
so we
And I should say done because, I mean, just as far as her asking all the questions about these
yeah.
fields, I felt like we kind of had a very lengthy exchange in the case about all this. So,
Yeah, and you guys did, and I was looking through it and stuff. So for me, a lot of it is just I'm wanting to just doubly. I like to be when it comes to merge
I got
documents.
it.
I am
I
super
got it.
thorough. Yeah.
So, insert legal name of PEO. So that'll, basically the way you're putting those brackets in there, it'll get rid of all that typing and just put in the name. That's the idea.
Yeah.
Okay.
So this right here, what you see, this highlighted section here, it's just part of the Microsoft Mail Merge system. So when we put merge field and then we put company name, this is going to go find, based on a stored procedure in the system, it's going to find whatever that is and fill the information in, removing all brackets, removing all other things except for just company name.
For the yellow highlighted areas that you just worked on.
Yeah. So like in these, what I'll end up doing is I'll go find the legal name in the merge field and everything, and then I'll just replace this bracketed area with something that'll look a lot like this.
Okay, got
but
it.
whenever you guys are looking at the document on its own, we will actually, there's like a view, it's an Alt F9 that will add or remove the merge fields from being seen.
Okay.
Yeah, so so those actually, they kind of just disappear completely. Okay. So, okay, now getting down to some of the other stuff that was more particular. So, let me pull up the case. All right, cool. So, Patrick, you said you spoke to Bryce about getting stuff from the pricing console onto the proposal.
Yeah, so Bryce is pretty much handling, he's the guy with the sales know-how. So he's like, yeah, just throw it all in.
Okay. So he's kind of handling the proposal and CSA stuff, what information we want in there?
No, he just wanted to be involved in the process. So then when I asked him, he goes, yeah, just put it all in there into the proposal. So you want me to go grab him real quick?
Yes, that would be awesome. Yeah, because I just want to confirm everything is a lot of stuff.
Is all the HR starter stuff pricing?
I think we told him. Evan, did you add the HR starter pricing?
No, not yet. I was finishing up some of the workflow stuff, but I'm gonna actually do it as soon as the call is over.
Okay.
That's my plan so far.
Bryce is on a conference call right now,
Okay.
so he didn't even know what all the fields were. That's why he's just telling us to throw everything in. So I'm like, okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Okay. So here, let me go through. Okay. So I'm sorry.
Can you pull up the proposal?
Yes. Let me see here. You guys have proposal sections on your CSA and on your ASO?
Yeah, because you're talking PEO. You're basically, you're talking PEO agreement and ASO agreement, and yes.
Okay, so this is where your numbers start pulling in right here, right? For your or hang on a minute. I'm sorry. I might have.
That's just kind of pre-populated there as the general information. So if we didn't have pulse, then that's where we can kind of, get an idea of what our pricing is.
Gotcha. Okay, so this is what Lindsay's worked on so far. So we got the company name in there. Keep scrolling down. Company name, blah, blah, blah. Okay, and then in here's where we got your, okay. Okay, so for the classification codes, by the way, I did look, and Microsoft does not have any way to produce like dynamic cell expansion with.
What if it's just a blank box? What if it's just one box over there?
So instead of having multiple lines, it's just one big box column right here.
Yeah, and then it just does a data dump of whatever all the workers' comp class codes are. I mean, is that possible to do it that way?
I mean, yeah, I could test and take a look at it. I mean, we could separate them by commas or something like that. My suggestion is not to do that, only for the reason that in these boxes, it's really, really helpful to line up like rows on these instead of just because then it starts getting it starts to look a little funny sometimes. So I mean, I could do a little bit of testing if you want, but I do recommend keeping with the columns and the row design.
All right, so for the workers' comp, I think you guys were trying to tell us that there was something totally separate on that with the workers' comp, but I don't remember what it was.
On what?
Impulse. Workers' comp.
I
think you got Accord forms out there, but we just kind of touched on it, and then I think you just said it was like a whole other arena.
Yeah, the getting an Accord setup is it's a bit of a beast.
All right. So skipping the Accord setup, how do we pricing out workers' comp in the system?
Okay, so let me go to my test here. Okay, so usual create. When we have these calls, I like to make sure we got fresh data and stuff too. So we'll go, nope. All right, so let's just say we're going to do an ASO bronze. And then we go to our pricing console. So when you go to your pricing console, so that an actual deal is submitted and such. So if you go to the add state and code, so let's just say we add that, and then you guys have an 8810. And then you would just get pay frequency. This is just information. Obviously, you guys may not want to, you may not have to fill in everything because you may not be tracking the numbers and such, but we usually recommend filling in as much as possible just so you can make sure that you have just having the data in there for reporting purposes and all like that. But just fill the information out, click save. And so the comp code is kind of added down here. We get with some information. Then what we do is click generate pricing. And what it's going to do is that default information that you guys gave us with the legal entities, the state masters, your contract types, and everything like that, it's going to pull all that information from that data dump, and it's going to run it through our code, and that's what's going to spit out your admin fees and all your numbers for that, which is going to give you pricing out, for instance, your billing rate for the comp code. So for that risk section.
So it's not doing the workers' comp premium itself? Or is it the billing rate is what we're putting in there for the total billing, or is that just markup? I mean, that looks like a markup number to me.
Yeah, so this is going to be your cost. The billing rate is going to be your cost to client. That's why we have, you guys noticed we had funding versus manual rates, things like that. That's where we make sure that we're getting your cost to client rate. And so your billing rate right here is going to be a cost to client.
Okay.
And in your
yeah. Just trying to see how this correlates to the proposal. Workers' comp,
so
we go through Hub International, they quote out our workers' comp, simple policy, $500, one class code. Is that going in here? Or
yeah, so for instance, it was a California 8810.
Yeah.
So right here, we got our comp code and everything, what we would do is we would have our merge procedure, our out of the box one, would show up with like a. Obviously, we'll change the font on this, but we would get a. It shows up with like an 8810CA. That's out of the box. It'll pull your comp code and state right here. And then from there, we would be able to pull, like, we would do a little calculation for your full-time, part-time employees, and we'd pull that into here. So you have a total number of worksite employees. Your estimated basics or basis, I would need a little more clarification on what exactly that is. The rate and these different pieces are
Again,
the system.
this is just a Google sample that we pulled off the internet. It means nothing to us.
Okay.
So if you don't have it, doesn't mean anything, yank it out.
Okay. Yeah, the estimated I mean, my reason for just with some of this stuff, I'll ask you guys is if it's like an exact thing that you guys are like hardcore wanting, just because like,
yeah.
I mean, an estimated basis is probably something very familiar to us, but it's just being given a
probably
different
the payroll,
name.
no? What I'm assuming.
Oh, okay.
So if it's $100,000 in payroll, that's probably what that means. So I don't know if you want to put a different number in there.
Okay. If you, I mean, unless you guys want to call it something different or whatever like that, but if estimated basis works, that's fine. It's just, for me, it's just there's I mean, you guys know there's 100 names.
Put estimated payroll. Just forget the word basis. Just estimated payroll. And then that way it makes more sense to everybody.
Perfect. Okay. Okay.
So what about the rate?
We want a weekly payroll.
So for the rate, that's a little bit. That's where more clarification.
It's going to be always, and then it'll just chop down whatever their payroll run is. The computer's going to do all the math on that.
Yeah. So right here, we have like your work comp bill rate. So that bill rate you saw, we could pull that straight into the rate, or we can pull it into the premium. That's kind of so like. Sorry, I've got like little, so remember how we saw the merge field and then like the name, like company name or whatever like that. These are the replace fields that we come out of the box per thing like that. So that's why I'm just referencing these real quick. So, let's see.
I think we would just like it to be, if we can break it down, and I'm trying to think on workers' comp for the quotes that we get from the carriers. I don't know if it's broken down. I think they did a basic part of it.
Yeah, they give you the rate per 100 or something, or
class code, yeah.
And that's like, but
so they give us a total rate. They don't break it down the way this is.
Mm-hmm.
But I would imagine we could probably have it go that way. We could, because it sounds like your system has the capabilities. If we're plugging in for 8810CA a rate, then Pulse can figure it out. So if the rate includes our markup, who cares, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, like, so for the system, it's going to record whatever the rate is to you guys as a company from an insurance, perspective, but then it's also going to record whatever you want to charge your client. So whatever the markup is, it will accommodate that for sure. You guys, you just got to let me know whatever that is.
Pulse. Show us in Pulse where you're putting in the rate for the workers' comp.
Alrighty.
For that class code.
So in your admin workspace, and this is where your default stuff comes from. Dang it. Come on. Okay. So in your system, this is just your default. This is you only gave me the one 8810. So in here, we have 8810 right here, clerical code. And then we've got the policy connected to it. We've got your state. And then we've also got your manual rate and your funding rate. So your funding is right here. It's your cost. So this is your cost to you guys to worksite pay. And then this is your manual rate, which is going to be your marked up rate to the client itself.
Okay. So if we get you a list of all the rates on all the different classes, is that what you need to build all this out?
Yeah, because this is, that's when I asked about the Excel sheet with the different things, and I wanted to make sure that the
Yeah,
one rate was the only one. That's why I was
got it.
making sure, because this is just setting up as default information so that when you go in there and you go, okay, well, I want to charge like a 9610. Okay, well, then the system's going to go, hey, great, what's the funding, what's the manual, and then let's produce the expansion of numbers for you.
Hmm. Okay. We can work on trying to get that information. So that's why we just kind of bypassed it in the setup, just so it didn't delay the whole game.
That's fine.
But if Hub can supply it to us, we'll try to get a list of the different class codes with the rates.
If you guys want to wait until we've got the system live for you, and we've only got the 18810, but then you're like, okay, now that everybody's working the system, we went through training, security, we finished all that out. And if you guys want to wait till we're done and then go, okay, so here's the document with all the rates and everything, I can get that uploaded in as like an afterthought if you wanted to. Because I know there's going to be the learning curve and everything, so it's like, it's great to have all your rates in, but until everybody knows how to actually use a system and get those rates done, it's kind of useless.
And I guess the other thing is we could always come in here and manually enter these rates too.
Yeah, absolutely.
Ourselves. Yeah. Okay. Got it. So then we know where that is, and if there are two different class codes for a company, then you're saying that would be challenging to put that on the proposal?
No, first off, in the system, you can add as many of these as you want and just keep adding com codes in the system. So that supports that. And then what it will spit out. So I know that you had asked me a question about whether or not we can have these lines dynamically appear or disappear, whether or not we actually have something in the like cell above it kind of a thing. Microsoft doesn't really have any good systems for that, for dynamic table working in Word. So that's kind of you want to have as many lines out.
Because the proposal is Word, it can't be in Excel. That wouldn't make sense.
I mean, we have had some people create their proposals, CSAs, everything in Excel.
Yeah.
And they just, the only issue that I do try to warn people about, and I'm sure you guys already know now, is like with a Word document, we can output a PDF for you instead of a Word document, so salespeople can't make edits to it. With an Excel file, they would be opening up the Excel file and then having to export their own PDF of it.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot more you can do in Excel, but I don't think you guys are trying to get all crazy or nothing with it.
I mean, the only thing that I can think for Excel purposes is that if it was separate than the Word document or something, so then all the pricing is like an addendum, or I don't know, like the pricing component, all this stuff is like in Excel format, and the rest of the proposal is in Word.
I mean, we do have a lot of people that like to produce their pricing areas out of Excel, but just because of the number crunching and all that kind of stuff. So it's not uncommon. If that's what you guys are wanting, then I mean, we can do that for you for sure.
I think that makes the most sense, because then now you've got your proposal in Word with all the mail merge stuff, and then all the number crunching in Excel. And if you can put all those together on one, or how does that work?
I mean, the thing is that, so like, let's just say that you wanted, let's just, for the sake of argument, say that we were going to take this one number sheet right here, and you were going to pull a crap ton of numbers out of Excel, and that's the way you were going to run it because of everything it can do. But this stuff from here up, all the wording and verbiage is in a Word document. We don't have any way of being able to take the Excel file and merge it into a Word document. That would have to be done manually on you guys' part. Yeah, sorry.
Well, what about PDF? Because you're converting all this stuff to PDF. So can you convert the proposal, the Word document and the Excel document, and merge those together on a PDF for one final proposal?
No, unfortunately. We can take the Word document as a whole and convert it to PDF, but we wouldn't be able to take the Excel, convert it to a PDF, the Word, convert it to a PDF, and then merge them together. They would be separate documents in that regard.
You say a lot of clients are doing it both, with both. How is that done? How are they achieving that?
Well, what they do is they have their CSA's ASO contracts as a Word document that gets outputted as a PDF, but then they make their own, they make their proposals function with all the verbiages and everything like this too in an Excel. They format it and make sure that it works so that whenever they pull that out, in their, so it runs all the calculations and does all that stuff. So when they pull it out, all they have to do is take the proposal only and just export it as a PDF. But the reason why they do that oftentimes is just because of they're wanting different kinds of weird calculations and stuff like that. That's usually the reason why. If you guys feel that this is all you're going to need, you probably won't need to go that extensive with it.
Well, it's just a matter of how are we laying out the workers' comp for the customer. That's, I guess, where we're tripping up here. You're saying it's a problem. So I think
no.
what you're saying is all you could do is deliver a total amount and then like nothing broke it down like this?
No, we can, okay, so this part, everything with these broken down numbers and all that, that's not an issue. The thing for you guys is that, let's say that you are planning to have a maximum of 8 comp codes, then we're going to have 8 lines here. But if there's somebody who has 4 comp codes instead of 8, they're still going to have they're still going to have the 4 extra empty lines. That dynamic part, that's the only part that I was like, hey, that I looked into it, that we can't.
Yeah, so what if we made one page on the proposal for just the workers' comp and then had the administrative separately? So there's just a workers' comp page, with a bunch of rows and lines and all that. What do you think about that?
I think all the numbers should be on one page. Just have it spread out.
So what about the workers' comp class codes?
I think.
What if they have a bunch of them with different locations or something crazy? How do we work through that on a proposal? Is there a way if workers' comp is not involved, Evan, it just won't show up in a proposal?
Yeah, we could do that. Yeah, I think we could. Let me finagle it, but yeah, I'm pretty sure that we could, because what we would do is we would have the whole table would be its own separate table from like the administration. So we would have to have these separated, and then we would just wrap it in a dynamic, and probably like a dynamic merge statement.
Okay. So you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 rows. It's just if the client had extra, workers' comp class codes for whatever reason, and I'm just guessing maybe it's because of like multi-state situations. So it just wouldn't all populate here. What would happen?
You would just have some blank rows. So like, let's say the 8810 was the only one for this client. Let's just say the client of ZZ, ZZ test or whatever.
No, that's the other way, Evan. No, let's just say they have 10, but there's only 6 rows. What happens?
Then the other 4 would be left out. We can support pulling into the document. We can support up to, I think it's 25. Nope, it is 30. We can pull in 30 codes if you want, but that would just be 30 lines.
And you don't want to erase them, it's not going to auto-populate, but if you just put the workers' comp amount completely in the proposal and then have
why do we not,
so we can break it
instead of breaking it down by class code, why don't we just have one, here's your workers' comp, number of employees, payroll rate, and here's your premium. Why do we have it? We don't need to break it down.
So Evan, can you make it one row for all of it?
It's not breaking it down by class code, just like, hey, this is your workers'
total
comp amount.
This is the workers' comp, yeah.
Pulse does all the math, adds up all the different class codes and all the different rates on all the different payroll numbers, and just throws a total in there.
So just aggregating it all and then taking all your comp codes and then just being like, you have an 8810 California, comma, you have another one like that?
Just the total.
Okay, just the totals.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, let's see. I mean, yeah, feasibly, yeah, we could do that. Because we would,
And
we,
can we still,
I'm sorry?
can we still pop like a report on Excel that does break it down for us? Like if we need to make sure that it's being charged correctly, we don't necessarily have to give it to the client, but we can have it for record, just so it can auto-populate and we have it on hand if we need it.
If you guys are wanting a something to kind of just give you a per client like just breakout like that, I would suggest an Izenda report for you, because that would be faster and more accessible for you guys. And not only that, you could if you were, let's say you wanted it scheduled as to be emailed to you on a weekly basis or something like that, you could also have that. So I mean, yeah, I think what you're talking about would be very possible, and I think that you would be better off with a report instead of a merge, though, for your breakout.
So then also, if they get this proposal, it's not like a bunch of numbers, like, what is this all?
Yeah, I think it should be
Give them like a flat amount, this is what it is.
So Evan, can you do it the simple way?
Yeah, with just the aggregated numbers. Yeah, I think
Yeah.
that would be doable. You guys just need to make sure that you send me the design in
blank and then just have a full number over there. And
Get rid of the rows. Why don't you need all those extra rows if they're gonna be empty?
okay.
Well, we can just put number of employees, though, if we want to just give them, like, this is how much it's costing for your 22 employees you told us about, not for.
Well, Evan, we do have, so we do have Bryce here now, so we could talk about all the different fields
Okay.
for the proposal. But I guess what everybody's saying is there's going to be a row that just says workers' comp and your
Okay.
total amount. That's it.
Can we
Yeah.
try to maybe use the class code for the locations? What if they have a couple of locations? Do you want to break it down that way, or when you have the workers' comp?
Total per location? Yeah. So then what if we did totals just for locations? Can we do that?
Let me see here. By location, do you mean like per state?
Not necessarily. I mean,
How by location? How do you want to break down that location?
I don't know.
Address.
Can you break it down? Which way can you break it down? I mean,
What's the easiest way to?
So let's see. Right now we got. Let's pull in a CA.
I don't know.
Does the workers' comp rate stay the same no matter what location you're in?
Might be for the state of California. If it's just all California, it might just be lumped all together.
Okay, so let's
I don't
just
know
keep
if
it
they're
that
breaking
way.
it down.
I haven't seen it broken down.
I have, actually.
You have?
I think I have. But it's just what we want to do. So what if we do it by state, just to be safe?
Oh, and yeah, instead of class code, put state.
State, yeah.
I
Number of
will.
employees.
I can look into it. I'd have to. I can't give a definite on that one for sure yet.
All right.
Okay.
So for sure, we're going with one row, workers' comp, total, whatever it is.
Well, let's
Okay.
make sure we keep number of employees.
So number of employees will keep, estimated payroll.
Rate, premium.
Premium total. No, because the premium is gonna, and the rate's gonna vary by,
We don't,
it's gonna vary by,
you can put that number 3.
You wanna change
Yeah.
premium?
Well, if there's a total there, why
that
would we
is a
need premium?
I know.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So let's
so get rid of premium, or get rid of the word, yeah, so just that's gonna be a dead column. So where it says total, I think that's fine, and we can even put maybe, yeah, I mean, should we
Maybe
put the
put
word
premium
premium there? Yeah, so get rid of the word total, just put premium.
Okay.
Do we want, because they're gonna be different if they have different codes.
Hmm?
Do we wanna keep the word rate in there, because they're going to be different if they've got like 8807?
Yeah, you gotta get rid of the word rate too, actually, get rid of that column.
Okay.
Only because if it's blended a bunch of different rates for that premium, you can't show the rate then.
Gotcha.
So probably just,
And then,
classification code, just call that state. And let's see if you can go off of it that way. So the state, the number of employees, estimated payroll, premium.
Okay. Yeah, I'll see what I can do with
But
your.
if it doesn't work by state, Evan, then just go with,
Number of employees.
Classification.
where the word state is. I don't know if you want to just, what should we do?
Policy.
Just get rid of that whole, yeah, any ideas, Bryce?
If,
Location, maybe?
We may
We're
not
just
need-
going state, we're not gonna break it down by
should
location.
we just write company name or something, so it says their company there?
So where it says state, Evan, just throw company name there.
Okay.
He'll do all that. All right, and then do you want to talk about just in general with all the fields?
Yeah, so so in your pricing console, what pieces are you wanting added into the system?
You mean into the proposal?
Into the proposal, yeah, sorry.
Let's look at the proposal. Start from the top.
How many fields are there total on the pricing console? Can they not all fit in there?
Well, okay, so the pricing console actually it's a combination of multiple data forms that we have in the system. So this is actually just kind of a view of multiple elements of the system, but in here, the thing is that we don't have by default all of the numbers exactly being pulled into a proc, but I mean, you know, it is possible to be able to get a custom proc in, but a lot of these fields are already being pulled in. So, like for instance, some of the admin fees, like we talked about, like the state, the comp code, like the gross payroll, and some of that kind of stuff is already being brought in. So it's just a matter of trying to figure out, because we have, I mean, this is the list of all the fields right now that we have coming through, and there's a lot. So I'm just wanting to make sure that I'm pulling, that we get the right ones pulled at the right places.
Okay. So do we need the form to see what we want to keep, what we want to add?
What do you want to do?
I said that to get water over the ocean.
It sounds like you guys definitely have, with the proposal, it seems like as far as the numbers section kind of goes, it seems like you guys have pretty much just about figured it out already.
But I know you said you pulled that proposal up just out the internet. Is that proposal what we actually want to give as breakdown?
So my question to you, Patrick,
Yeah.
is where are we throwing on the other numbers? This is just workers' comp. Where's the health and supplemental and all that stuff coming from and being put on here?
That should all be on here.
Let's go down.
Should all be on this thing. So if Hub gives us a group benefits quote, yeah, and to me, it should be at least probably by state. I know that the people would probably love to see it by location, but, you know, a lot of companies like mathematical breakdowns by location. They want to know the books for each location, how much it costs.
Yeah, what do we do by location then?
So is there any way you could do by location? Or check into that?
When you say location, do you, are you meaning by like?
Or it says company name. So instead of doing it by state, you know, just put company name, just change the location.
Change company name to location?
Yeah,
Yeah.
like if one company has, you know, let's say they have 3 different locations, 3 different job sites, and they have 10 employees at each one, or different variation of employees at each one. They want to see what's the cost for each, you know, building where they have their employees housed.
You know what we're saying, Evan? Because usually for accounting purposes, every business wants to know how much every location is spending, producing, whatever. So like,
yeah, that
the
makes
accounting
sense.
department always wants it broken down by where all they have other, like, just if you're looking at like a Subway franchise, they have 10 different subways. If we bundle all this together, it doesn't help them figure out how much it's costing at each location, each subway.
Makes
So
sense.
that's why we're thinking of, yeah.
All right.
So
Yeah, I'll
hopefully
look
you can
into
break
that.
it down that way. So location, number of employees, estimated payroll, what the premium is. That's the workers' comp side of things. So then so how many rows do you want for locations?
I mean, it can be customized anytime, right?
No,
No?
no. It's gonna be all static and it's gonna be just what it is, and he's building out Pulse. All your data is gonna come over from Pulse.
Into here.
If you give it 5 rows and there's 20 locations, your proposal will be missing 15 locations. That's the thing.
Well, I mean, our target is small companies, and so a lot of small
Yeah.
businesses are not gonna have a ton of locations.
Yeah, so,
But if we get a big company, which, you know, will happen just over time, I'm
all
sure.
right.
We may just
Well,
populate our own proposal.
And
not
again,
do-
I mean, we could do, and I know you're saying you want everything on one page, but it sounds like, Evan, so just to confirm, if we have one page dedicated to workers' comp for all their locations, but then they don't do workers' comp through us, you're saying that page can just completely be excluded?
Yeah, so the content on that page just wouldn't exist.
The content on it, but the page will still be there.
I'd have to do a little bit of testing to double check.
Yeah.
I've done it with a different kind of system before, and it made it, or different kinds of content, and it made the page itself as a whole disappear. But I would just need to double check when it comes to doing that kind of a wrap with tables.
That's where I was thinking we could do a page for workers' comp, a page for group benefits, and then if there's only 3 rows on each page, there's only 3 rows. Otherwise, if that doesn't even apply, those pages are totally left out. Then you just have your final numbers page for everything else. Yeah.
How do I know this is for workers' comp? I'm looking at this, I don't know what a location, what do you mean? What do you mean?
Oh, yeah. So I guess what we need to do is just, break it down so that way this can be, yeah, so can we just call this section workers' comp somewhere?
Under the numbers.
Because I think it's the table, the valid for 30 days from X. If we can maybe hit enter underneath, next to the red X's, just put your cursor over there.
Or you can say the numbers down workers' comp.
And then just like enter. Well, just push the table. Yeah, and then put like workers' comp right there. Like for that section. And then, well, it's going to be a whole page actually, right? So.
I mean, if you wanted to, we could leave this and have only this worker comp section wrapped in like an if statement.
So in the if statement, well, that's the same as a page really, because I guess it's the table itself that's in the if statement.
Yeah, it would be the contents that's wrapped in the if statement. So that's how we usually do that with different kinds of clauses and such like that.
Yeah. So then a part of the table, I guess it could say workers' comp or something in, as part of the table at the top, just add an extra row or something like that. And then that way, if the if statement says no, nothing or whatever, then it just excludes it all. So somehow we would have to structure it so just one whole page, lots of rows for workers' comp, all locations, and then another page for the group benefits. And should we make those the last pages and just try to have it go straight down a proposal to the total summary of everything? And then break out those 2 separate sections that way?
So we could have one page that has everything on one.
Yeah.
Benefits, workers' comp.
And then all the
admin
details
fees.
of what the heck they got in following pages or something. So if they do sign up for or want workers' comp proposal and group benefits, those pages can follow with all that data. But otherwise, yeah, they read through this whole thing and then boom, the first thing they see is the breakdown of the numbers. You like that? All right. So Evan, what if we have, kind of, because I know we're butchering our main pricing page here, but yeah, so what if this page is the nutshell of all the pricing, and literally, there's only one row for total workers' comp, no matter how many. You still there?
Yep, right here.
Yeah, see red X's on this. So if one row has workers, instead of location for this page, it's a summary page.
Yeah.
So then we're just going to put one row, workers' comp. No matter how, and they have 500 locations, it's just going to show that total number and maybe the total payroll, total employees, and it's a total. And then the next row will be group benefits, total, and then whatever else we need to put on this thing.
Yeah, honestly, that sounds like it would be a really good, it's going to be easy, should be a fairly simple setup from the way you guys have described it.
Okay.
I would just say this, if you're going to change the proposal like that and do a redesign, I would suggest just do the redesign and upload it to the case again, and I'll grab it from the case and then just add the parts of the system that's going to start populating.
Okay.
Yeah, we try not to do design for you guys because, to be fair, none of us here are very good at it.
Yeah.
We're good at adding stuff in and figuring it out and like doing some of that stuff, but the actual design work, we're not, just to be honest, we're not very good at it.
All right, so scroll down a little bit.
Okay.
To the next, what else do we have here?
That's it.
Scroll up. What, do we have the next page? Higher? So, okay. So then let's talk, so Bryce had stepped out. We were talking about all these pricing fields.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess the question is still what fields here are going on the mock-up of the summary page?
For the page that we were just looking at?
Yeah, for the basic summary page, so they see the breakdown of what their total monthly is.
I thought, so workers' comp, health, and the supplemental is voluntary.
But what are the rest of go back down to that other page, Evan, the pricing page. So I think we had some sections disappear on us. There was more stuff there. But it's a matter of what items from the pricing console that we want over there.
And are you talking about the FUTA, SUTA, that kind of stuff?
Evan, is it normally FUTA, SUTA on there, on a proposal?
That one, honestly, FICA, FUTA, SUTA, that stuff varies a crap ton per client. So we have a lot of people that don't put any of it on there, and we have a lot of people that put everything on there. That one's very touch and go.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, that one's kind of a weird one, actually.
Well, if it's taxes, it's taxes. There's nothing they're going to be able to do to get around that.
Yeah.
So what if we left it off?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's nothing to compete on taxes. That's just more numbers go wrong.
We do have people have people that do an upcharge on the taxes. So like the per code, we do have a FUTA and SUTA that we can bring over if you were wanting.
We're not going to do that. Yeah, we're going to skip the upcharges and taxes. So what other options do we have?
You do, if you guys are charging an admin per head, or effective comp rates, different things like that. So we do have some of those out of the box, so we could just bring in there for you. That's if you're wanting those fields for aggregated purposes. Outside of that, I know we've got the code. Let's see, we have the EE count, gross payroll, bill rate. We're not doing these. So the what?
Not doing a percentage. No admin percentage. Yeah. Admin per head, yes.
Okay, so we'll bring that over as well.
Right. And then I'm seeing effective comp rate. But we can skip that.
Okay.
So it just repeats with 2, 3, 4.
Yeah, for codes. It's because of how Word works. So Word works a little bit differently than Excel. Excel allows us to do dynamic row increase.
Yeah.
And Word's just a little more finite, and that's just because it's more. It's a lot easier to PDF it and stuff like that.
Okay. So I don't know. I mean, this thing sounds like it's gonna be really simple. So it sounds like it's gonna be a summary of workers' comp, summary of group benefits, a summary of the admin. So I guess, you know, for the mock-up of the summary page, you know, it's gonna be maybe plan name or something, like description. It's probably gonna be like a description box or something, so we can, that's the only thing, if there's a summary page, these things are not gonna, estimated payroll is almost irrelevant. Location is relevant. That's the other thing, we'll have to work on design, trying to figure out the summary page. That stuff. All right, so then, the admin fee,
The percent of default.
I'm sorry, what was that?
The percent of default, right underneath the admin fee.
Yeah, oh, okay, sorry, I thought, all right, you're talking about the admin percent?
Yeah, right underneath, well, it says percent of default. Right underneath the annual admin fee.
On the, on your proposal or on the, on that, field list?
Does he have this, what we're looking at?
Yeah, you had that up earlier, yeah. It's on the, when you type in where, if you're gonna put ASO bronze, platinum, whatever.
Impulse.
Impulse.
Oh, oh, the contract? Contract type? This right here?
Yeah.
that's not it.
I don't see it.
Is that your,
It's a different screen.
Yeah.
But whatever it is, we're not gonna put on a proposal. All right, so we're just going with 3 lines then on the summary page. Workers' comp, group benefits, and then cost per employee per month. So that if there is no workers' comp, there is no grievance, so they just get 1 row.
What about the supplemental?
Supplemental,
Yeah.
with that hub stuff, it's all separate.
The mutual of Omaha, whatever, are we gonna put that on there, showing the benefit?
that would fall in under all the benefits. Do we have a rate for all of them?
It's gonna
Vary
vary per.
Yeah, there's not gonna, yeah, we can't really put pricing there since they want it, that would be something that we would, yeah, have to add it separately. It almost seems, to me, it almost seems like we should just go with the assumptive close on all that stuff. You know,
So we just
sort of-
close them in there, we won't put on the proposal, it's just.
right, and you get a package of all this stuff that your employees have access to, and if they're like, hey, we don't wanna offer that, okay, we'll pull it out then. Otherwise, the whole thing's gonna be set up like to go with the employees being able to tap into all that stuff. That's kind of what I'm thinking. All right, so we'll just try to work on a mock-up, a cleaner mock-up, but it sounds like it's gonna be like 3 pages. Summary page, then like a workers' comp page, like group benefits page, something like that. So we can break out our location.
Alrighty. That sounds good to me.
Okay. Any other questions, guys?
All right.
We wanted to just get rid of that, I think,
Yeah.
we talked to them, or just send them something.
Yeah.
Or is there-
I'll put South into them in case.
Because you already have legal name up top, you already have FEIN.
Yeah.
Contract type will go under the general summary.
Mhm.
So I think we can keep this thing really simple, Evan. I don't think we have to overcomplicate it right now.
I mean, the
Yeah,
other thing too, guys, just to bear in mind, like, trust me, right now, if you go simple, you get it out, you get it going, and then you can actually start getting the
Yeah.
system used. But don't forget that if you guys were like, hey, let's do a revamp, like a tiny revamp and like add a little bit of stuff here. By the way, side note,
Yeah.
guys, the mail merge system in here is not unique to ClientSpace. A lot of it is Microsoft functionality. The only difference is we write a proc to give you the data, but this is the key of all you need. And I can give you guys this document. You guys can make some of these edits yourself and just be like, hey, we made the merge, feel free to upload. Like right now, there's a former guy who used to work with us who's now consulting, and he's building out merges for his clients who are PEOs. So some of this, if you guys
We
are
have
wanting...
nobody that's going to do all that, Evan. We just don't have that person.
Okay. Well, I mean, I was just saying, if you guys are wanting to change little bits or things like that, if you learned a little bit, like it doesn't take a ton, but you can Google some of it too. But I just don't want you guys to have to always be like, you guys seem very innovative and ready to go with stuff. I just don't want you guys having to be stuck all the time.
Yeah. I think if we work with you on a couple of tweaks and changes, maybe we can learn then. But right now, it's still too overwhelming to even grab any additional anything. So
very fair.
Let's get it up and running. Yeah. So we'll mock up the proposal pages, the pricing pages, and then we'll get that over to you.
Okay, sounds good. All right. That's the approved status. So from there, we're going to get into security after this, and then we're going to get into training you guys so you can actually start using the system. So we're pretty dang close. All righty, guys. I appreciate you guys and all your time.
So same thing, though. I mean, I know you were out for a week sick and everything, but if we get this mock-up to you, and then, if you can get it all designed, can we move forward more quickly?
Yeah, so what my plan is I'm going to try to get, after this, I'm going to get the starter HR stuff in there and everything. And then I'm going to, because now I've got a little more tiny pieces, but as I start getting some of the stuff, I'll just let you know whenever I do, if I get an opening to be able to do an additional call before Tuesday.
Okay.
Thank you.
Sounds good. Thanks, Evan.
All righty. Thank you, guys. I really appreciate it.
Talk to you soon.
All righty. Bye.